All right, so this video right here is from Midwest Safety, and this is where it's called, here's why you shouldn't drive a fake cop car. Watch the reaction to the cops when they discover that there's another guy on the scene that they cannot quite pinpoint whether he's a cop or not. This is a psychological social experiment to the nth degree. Let's take a look at it.
This alleged police impersonator has cops questioning themselves.
His work is, but he does.
Unfortunately for this supposed imposter, one misstep in his masterful plans would trigger the beginning of his downfall.
I'm not sure if this is law enforcement or what.
He's gonna kill everybody on the road. Dude, if I was an average citizen, I would think that was the cop. Right.
You're under arrest right now.
Why am I under arrest?
Around midnight on January 21st, 2024, an unmarked black cruiser with flashing lights allegedly pulled over a civilian vehicle. The driver of the unmarked cruiser then flagged down a Columbus police officer for assistance. Soon after, a third cruiser arrives as backup. Due to the appearance of the scene, officers expected the stop to be a felony apprehension. Unknown to officers at the time, the whole traffic stop is a fraud.
Fugitive apprehension in van. I don't know what that is. I'm not familiar with it. I know it should be a patch or something, but he stopped his car. He said they've been driving all over the road and going to kill someone. Yes, from your guys' stuff. He flagged us down and we came over here to see what's going on.
The officers take a moment to look over the legitimacy of the patrol car in question.
I don't know if that's real or not. I mean,
the cops can't figure it out. It's like, wow, they look legit. Like we look legit. He's got, looks like he's got the credentials. We're not sure exactly. We don't want to arrest somebody if they're our own, you know. You can tell they're kind of in mental limbo as far as what they should be doing with this guy. It's hilarious.
It's going to be a felony stop. I'm going to go to 3 with some more information.
Federal apprehension?
Questioning the legitimacy of the plates, the officer forwards the information to dispatch to get an answer.
It's going to be out of Ohio. It's Ocean Frank Adam Paul 39. It might come back as the Ohio Fugitives Task Force. I'm not sure if this is law enforcement or what.
That is the case. 120 Marconi Boulevard is the registered address. It is listed as Ohio Fugitive Apprehension Program.
In an absolutely unbelievable twist of events, it turns out the vehicle was actually registered to the Columbus Division of Police Headquarters. The information causes the officer to say,
it's real.
Did you see that? Did you see that? I mean, in the eyes of these officers, man, this guy's legit. He's got a legit looking badge. He's got a legit looking police car. I mean, it threw us off. The only thing that throws them off is why would somebody with that high a level of clearance be involved in a nondescript traffic stop? What's this all about? And apparently this guy does this a lot.
It's coming back to your guys' HQ. So I don't know. We'll figure out what we got going here.
All right. Well, that's the Fugitive Task Force guy, ain't it?
Okay. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, that guy's all.
That's that Fugitive Task Force guy. So the cops on this police department are familiar with this guy, know this guy probably lives somewhere in the area. But wait till you see the coup de grace and the extreme irony here.
It's all over the place.
What's the task force and fugitive for anybody?
Good question. I called on them.
Yeah, that's...
No, I waved them down. He was going to kill everybody on the road.
What's going on with him?
Dude, he was going 11 on the road. Went in front.
Okay, just so for clarification, the guy who's talking right now is the guy that the cops are questioning if he's legit or not. This is the guy. He's in an unmarked car. Wait till you see the stuff this guy has inside this car. It all looks legit in the eyes of these officers.
In front of 3 other people. I'm off duty right now. I'm going home. I got all my gear in the back. I can show my credentials and everything.
Yeah, all right. We checked everything.
Yeah, what's up? He was going to, real problem. So I just stopped him and I flagged I saw the Mark Columbus police officer. I flagged him down. I said, you need to go talk to them right now. That's it.
Do you have a badge number?
These images, exclusively obtained by our channel's investigative reporting team, reveal what the mysterious agent presented to the officer.
Look at this. He even has a barcode. He's got, I didn't even notice this at first. Look, he's got a little, it's a little chip on his card. I wonder what would happen if you slid this chip or if you scanned this barcode. I wonder what comes up. So in the eyes of the cops, wow, this guy is heavily credentialed. He's got a badge. He's got an ID with all this legitimate looking stuff on it. It feels legitimate. It's laminated with that heavy duty lamination. Holy cow. This right here, the badge and this ID and the way the cop talks to him and the police car has these cops basically in a mental tailspin. They don't even know what to do. But one thing they know they don't want to do is arrest a guy who might be a federal agent.
Officer, we have redacted any personally identifiable information. Notice the seal of the United States embellished on both the badge and ID, hinting at federal authority. The design also heavily resembles an FBI badge. Compare for yourself.
Oh, wow. Oh, you're federal. Okay.
Note that, at least from the perspective of our visuals, there only appears to be one officer speaking to the mysterious driver after he is asked if he is a federal officer. This will be important later.
What is it? Your badge number? Do you have that?
7937.
79. Okay, that's good. Just that way I can put it in the call.
It's a no ops, so I don't know how you guys want to deal with it. You can deal with it. It's the first one out here. Yeah, yep.
I was punting to him, so I was like, I don't know.
Try to make a traffic stop on somebody in an unmarked car. What the fuck is he working for? He's a fugitive task force guy, but he's the one that calls in all this stuff.
It's like because something looks legitimate to the cops. Now, if they thought for a second it wasn't legitimate, this guy would have the cuffs on him and he'd be on the ground and then in the back of a police car, and he'd be fingerprinted and thrown into a cage faster than you can possibly think about it. But because they perceive that there's some kind of legitimacy to his authority, they're frozen, man. They're like, we kind of see that this isn't right, or is it? And he looks legitimate. And I don't know what's going on. This is, from a psychological perspective, this is an outstanding case study, let's say.
We thought it was you guys.
That's the main reason we stopped. We're like, some civilian out here making traffic stops?
Yeah. He was just, I flagged down the first marked car that I saw.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a real problem on the road.
So he's going 11 miles an hour.
He was going 11 down here. He tried to drive into two other cars. The one person.
He was going, I mean, what kind of excuse is that to pull somebody over? The roads look snowy and icy, and the guy was going 11 miles. 11 miles an hour is not very fast. I mean, is the cop saying that was too slow? Or is this fake cop saying it was too slow? Is he saying it's too fast? He's basically saying, yeah, I was afraid that he would endanger other motorists because he's going 11 miles an hour.
Person got a little bit road ragey on him.
Yeah.
And was following him like real close. The one guy that was gonna I think they're gonna fight. And so I just hit the lights on him real quick. He stopped right here in the middle of the intersection. I gave him commands 11 times on my radio with the lights on. Turn right, turn right, turn right. Get off the road, get off the road. He didn't follow any instructions. I wasn't getting. I got no gear on right now.
Oh,
everything's in the back, right? I saw the Columbus officer right here. I say, hey, whip around, and then that's where we're at.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot.
Are we good?
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's no ops and language line.
Do you want my card?
Sure, why not? Yeah, thank you.
The mysterious driver claims to be part of the Ohio Fugitive Apprehension Program, but officers may be confusing him with the legitimate U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force, seeing as they've said task force numerous times.
Even the guy who's in charge of this channel, Midwest Safety, says legit. He uses the word legitimate. What makes a person legitimate? I understand the dangers of impersonating a cop because you could actually use that perception of authority to have your way with say a guy is a pervert and he wants to have his way with women on the road. They drop their guard because it's like, oh, wow, yeah, here's my, we're going to have to take you in, man. Puts him in the back seat of a car that she thinks is a patrol cruiser, and then he takes her to the woods. I understand the danger of doing that, but maybe it would be a good idea for society as a whole not to look at law enforcement officers as having any sort of legitimacy. Then you can't have anybody. Then it doesn't matter if somebody tries to impersonate a police officer because you're not going to trust them. It's probably not a good idea to trust most, if not all. And I'm leaving that dangle there a little bit for a purpose. but it's probably a good idea not to put your trust in and let your guard down around any cop. We all already know that you shouldn't be answering the questions unless you know what you're doing and you know how to talk to police. The best idea is to invoke your Fifth Amendment right to be silent.
At this point, unlike local law enforcement, these task forces specialize in specific cases and operate within particular legal bounds. Charles Sanso, a Marshal Service supervisor for the task force in their area known as the Southern Ohio Fugitive Apprehension Strike Team or Task Force, so fast for short, clarifies their procedures. Before a task force can pursue a wanted criminal, a fugitive identification number must be issued and a warrant must be validated. Non-federal task force members have the singular duty of pursuing fugitives and don't have any of the other responsibilities of full-time deputy U.S. Marshals. Typically, fugitive agents avoid interacting with stops like this one due to the questionable legality of the situation, as they can only pursue wanted criminals under those circumstances. A supposed federal officer stopping a non-fugitive for going 11 miles per hour is likely leading to confusion among officers.
Appreciate you.
Yep, thank you.
Have a good night.
Yes. Right? Yeah, he's 1055. He's always calling BS stuff. That guy right there. Yeah.
You guys have seen him before?
Yeah.
He's always over here doing
I've never
stuff?
seen him before.
He's always calling in stuff about 48s and stuff. He's like people from like, well, people out of state. They're saying, like, dude, what do you want us to do with it?
But he's like legit though.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. 'Cause that's what we were trying to figure out. We were like, is this guy real?
I thought it was either you guys or them.
Is he one of us? Have you seen him at the local lodge? Is he part of our thin blue line? I don't know. It sure looks like he is.
I was like, I was at security, then I was like, but yeah, he's no ops, and I don't know how we're going to handle it.
Yeah,
So,
I'll see what's going on.
okay, cool. Language line, by the way, too, Spanish. So,
I love that.
At this point, the officers let the mysterious cruiser leave so they can focus on the driver he allegedly pulled over. As you may have heard already, the pulled over individual requires a translator, and he is allegedly no ops or has no operator's license. The officers communicate with him by
He has no operator's license, but they're going to let him go because they feel like he got his rights trampled on by the guy who says he's a fugitive agent.
utilizing a human translator over their radio. They find that the driver is a 20-year-old Hispanic male traveling with other non-speaking individuals. This could possibly be the reason why he didn't immediately pull over when he was instructed to do so by the mysterious cruiser. Allegedly, the passengers in the vehicle also do not have driver's licenses on them. After communicating with the driver, the officers reconvene about the situation. The officers are likely hesitant to pursue the situation due to the questionable legitimacy of the initial traffic stop. Under the Fourth Amendment, individuals cannot be unreasonably seized without probable cause. If
Did you read that? Let me go back. I wanted to go back to this one part right here. Watch what Ross does, Officer Ross. He mouths, "I'm not," because he knows he's on body cam, but the dash cam caught him. How many times do these cops have these secret conversations that they don't want the rest of us to hear? The reason you have these body cams is to make everything public. Now, he probably didn't think for a second that his dash cam picked it up, but when this guy goes, how are you going to deal with this traffic stop? He says, "I'm not."
Yep.
Watch it again.
What are you going to do with it, Ross? Yep.
the officers are likely hesitant to pursue the situation due to the questionable legitimacy of the initial traffic stop.
And all traffic stops have to be questioning the legitimacy, man.
Under the Fourth Amendment, individuals cannot be unreasonably seized without probable cause. If probable cause is lacking, any related searches or seizures violate this right. The potential that an individual may not have been stopped unless someone impersonated an officer is a serious violation of the Constitution and opens up the potential for a lawsuit. The officers are wisely hesitant to take any action against the driver.
Why is he making traffic stops on my car?
Dude, I thought we were coming out to something good, though.
That's
Like
what I
you were
thought.
saying, like, good job.
They walked up here like no
I
one's.
thought we were coming out to something good. I thought we were going to be able to break out our nightsticks and club somebody. Man, I've been itching to use my taser anyway. Your taser, man, I've been itching to empty this magazine on somebody. God, is there an oak tree around here somewhere?
near the car, and I was like, so yeah.
That dude making fucking traffic stop.
He did.
Get out of our car.
Yeah, that's why I'm not pushing this at all. But
Yeah. So you guys never dealt with him on second. See,
See a real.
Does he just drive around and do whatever the f he wants, or like?
Yeah, I bet he reads like plates and he gets like locations of people.
I'm gonna check this guy for warrants, and and we're gonna be done with this.
This officer couldn't shake the idea that a federal fugitive task force officer would be making low-level traffic stops. Leaving no stone unturned, the officer used the business card the mysterious driver handed him and decided to do a little homework on exactly what the Ohio Fugitive Apprehension Program actually is. What he found likely brought him great concern for the situation. In the report, he details he found the website for the Ohio Fugitive Apprehension Program to be ohiofap.com. We checked the website ourselves to find it is now a parked domain that is not active. However, at the time of this officer's research, he described the website as a single landing page that shows the seal of the Ohio Department of Insurance and a picture of the badge that was presented to the officer. Using Internet Archival Services and context from the police report, we've recreated what the website may have looked like to the officer at the time of his research. We've censored any contact information. At the bottom, it stated that the organization was founded by veterans. It also stated that the organization is actively recruiting licensed agents and sworn officers. Reports by news outlets that came at a later date revealed even more details about the mysterious driver. At the time of publishing this video, he is still listed as an active member of the Ohio Bail Agents Association. This association allows certain entities to apprehend individuals to court only under the specific circumstance that they are out on bond. In other words, he's a bail bond agent, who according to WBNS 10 owns the nonprofit called the Ohio Federal Apprehension Program, and under no authority has any legal right to use flashing lights or a mock police cruiser to pull over random citizens. In fact, if we take a look at the badge the man used to allegedly represent himself with on his person and on his website, you'll find he may have opened himself up to even more legal trouble. This badge lists the word enforcement, which may not seem like a big deal at first. However, under Ohio law, bail bond agents are restricted from referring to themselves as bounty hunters or bail enforcement agents, the key word being enforcement. Under this law, if a bail bond agent is found guilty of doing this 3 times, it is considered a felony. On top of that, the officer discovered that anyone from the general public could purchase this badge from several online retailers. According to an interview conducted by NBC4 Columbus, officials confirmed that this situation was one of many conducted by this man. Westerville Police Department's Detective Lieutenant Justin Alloway had this to say about the man. I know one person that he did stop. He actually placed under arrest because they had a warrant for their arrest. However, it wasn't a felony warrant that he had a contract to be able to actually arrest that person. How they discovered this information may baffle you. For now, let's move back to where we left off. The next night, officers then get together to apprehend the suspect roughly 20 hours after the initial traffic stop was
They go to his house to apprehend them, and there's no indication that they have a warrant. Watch what they do.
conducted. They park their cruisers down the street and make their way to their targeted house on foot.
Hey,
Hey, what's going on?
hey, you remember me from last night?
Yeah, I do. What's going on?
So we had a couple more developments about that traffic stop. Can you come out here and talk to me?
Yeah. Let me get socks and shoes on.
Oh, actually, you're under arrest.
Just broke the plane of his door. He just violated his Fourth Amendment rights. Wait till you hear what these cops say as they're violating this guy's Fourth Amendment rights without a warrant. No warrant shall issue but upon probable cause. What? Probable cause that a crime has been committed, but there has to be a warrant issued. Otherwise, you can't do what the cops just did. They just violated this guy's rights.
Arrest right now.
Why am I under arrest?
Turn around, put your hands behind your back. For unlawful detainment and impersonating a police officer.
I have done none of that.
You have a right to remain silent.
For what?
Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand?
I do. Jess, I don't know what's happening right now. What is happening?
We'll explain it to you in just a minute, but we're gonna do what we need to do and make sure everybody's safe, okay?
We're going to do what we need to do. We're going to violate the Fourth Amendment we swore to protect, defend, and uphold, and we're going to arrest you without a warrant.
Okay.
The officers immediately read him his Miranda rights, although he voices some resistance.
Yeah, exactly. What's the matter? You says, you're not a real member of our club. Exactly.
To the legitimacy of his arrest, he complies to each command the officers give.
You're arrested for impersonating a police officer.
How did I impersonate a police officer? I never impersonated any police officer.
Should we arrest cops for impersonating civilians? I mean, think about it. Cops impersonate civilians so that they can apprehend who they believe is criminals, and it's okay. It's policy. But if you impersonate them, it's a felony. It's kind of like cops can lie to you. That's policy, man. Cops lie all the time. It's policy. You lie to a cop, well, that's a felony. You're going down. You're going downtown for that one.
So into all that later.
As the man is taken to the real patrol car, another officer stays behind to
The real patrol car.
explain the situation to who they assume is
Listen to this explanation.
the man's wife.
So I'm Officer Ross of Westerville. Last night there was a traffic stop made on South Cleveland Avenue. Your husband initiated that traffic stop with red and blue lights and stopped a car and detained an individual. He's not a licensed police officer in the state of Ohio, and that is unlawful detainment and impersonating a police officer. So,
Okay.
And based on the evidence that we have right now, he's not and never has been a police officer. He can't do that.
Okay.
All of these are misdemeanor charges.
He has a license for bail bonds.
Bail
and insurance.
bonds.
Yes.
Right. Unfortunately, he made a traffic stop on somebody.
Okay, but I know he only did that for the good of, he felt like that was necessary.
I understand. However,
Okay.
the significance of this goes a little bit beyond just the criminal law.
Here we
And
go.
there is a constitutional violation.
There's a constitutional violation of the Fourth Amendment that happened. The cop is saying he's concerned about. Didn't you guys just violate my right to be secure in my house by breaking the threshold and coming in and arresting somebody you didn't have a warrant to arrest? So let me get this straight. You're in here telling me that you're concerned that somebody's constitutional rights were violated as you're in the process of violating our constitutional rights.
Fourth Amendment that happened. Somebody's constitutional rights got violated and their liberty was taken from them. Do you have any questions for me?
I mean, this is not a
I am just going to play that again. That is a real jaw dropper.
And there is a constitutional violation of the Fourth Amendment that happened. Somebody's constitutional rights got violated and their liberty was taken from them. Do you have any questions for me?
You know, kind of like I'm in the process of taking your liberty right now. I mean, I am in your house uninvited.
I mean, this is not at this time. I mean, yeah, I kind of came out of nowhere. So we were just watching the Chiefs and Bills game. Like,
Yeah. Try to be as respectful as possible.
no, and you have been. It just really kind of. Okay.
Do you know if he has the original Ohio plate, license plate for that? Because the plate that's on there is like a plate that someone made somewhere.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Well, that's fine. But just in case we need to come back in, you know, we
Yeah, no, I mean, you can.
Just in case we need to break into your house again, you know, next time we'll bring a battering ram and a SWAT team. Just in case, though, we just want to make sure that we can get all the information that we came to get.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll talk to him.
As you just heard, the current plates that were on the vehicle were plates that were likely bought from a third-party website. He has a legal license plate under the same tag number, but he swapped out the plates for the more official-looking color. Soon enough, the officers head back out to the real cruiser where the man is apprehended.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Can you explain this, please?
Go ahead and take a seat. We'll explain it. No, that definitely looks like a police car. It even has a computer and everything.
Look at this guy's car. Look at this car, man. He is decked out. It looks like he even has more equipment than a regular cop. And now, because this cop maintains his cool and stays with his original story, it's also another thing that kind of mentally short circuits these cops, and they start treating them with kid gloves. I mean, if you or I did this, and I think it's probably because he's credentialed possibly as a bondsman, but you're going to see some serious mental gymnastics here. And these cops are trying to work through it. They do not understand an interaction with somebody else who calls them authority that's not playing for their team.
Dude, he's a bed in there too. Yeah, he's sleeping there. Dude, he has. Dude, if I was an average citizen, I would think that was the cop. Right. We ran the number of
if I was an average citizen, I mean, my gosh, this is why I hate censorship, because I want people to keep on talking, just keep on talking from the abundance of the heart. What comes from the depths of who you are is what comes out of your mouth. Now, is it possible to sometimes misspeak? Of course, we've all done that. And that doesn't mean you're a bad person inside. But when they continually say that, if I was just a regular citizen, see, I don't know a cop who doesn't think that he's better than you, because they think they have more authority than you. They think that they're perfectly just in doing things where if you and I did the exact same thing, we'd be rightly thrown into jail and separated from society because we're a menace. But they think that they can do things and say things and act certain ways where if you and I did it, man, we will get the axe. So they don't even view themselves as regular citizens. They believe they are a cut above, looking down on the rest of us, making sure all the little children stay in order.
Thing, like a burner phone or something. It's just like a third party, like, voicemail box, basically. You can get one.
Those shirts in there though look pretty. It says to a fugitive tax force, fugitive agent. I don't know how you get those shirts though.
Bail bond, and we can't have it. I don't know how he's got Marconi as his address.
Yeah.
I don't either.
That's when you go to any DMV or you present a badge and grab it, really have people really paying attention.
So you said what? He said you have more stuff than you do?
Yeah, like gear and stuff.
Oh, really?
That's a medical bag. He's got the same like dude bag I have, but he's got that little drink bottle thing on the side. I'm like, how did I get rid of that? That's kind of nice. I don't want to say he's more dedicated, but I mean, his work is. He does.
And because this guy acts believable and is sticking with his story and is being low key about that, you'll see him talk to him in a second. They don't know where to go, even knowing what they know now. They don't know exactly where to go with this.
Once it's so bad, just go to the class. Huh? After like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, with all the stuff that he has.
Yeah, I guess that.
What the officer mentions here might be alluding to the man's troubling past. According to court records, the man once faced charges for petty theft, operating without a license, tag violations, driving while on a suspended license, and reckless driving. The reckless driving charge came to be after it was amended from an operating while intoxicated charge. Of those charges, he was found guilty. He also faced charges in the past for improperly transporting a firearm, had a different impaired driving charge, and had one charge of disorderly conduct, but those were dismissed.
We have an academy.
What's the woman not hiring, but someone else will.
They read his Miranda rights again to be sure he understands them. Afterwards, they continue explaining the situation to the apprehended individual.
Those plates are fictitious. They're not the original Ohio plates that came on it.
Correct.
That being said, that vehicle is parked illegally without real license plates.
Okay, I've talked to the state. All of that is in process.
He does a good job interacting with these cops, man. His story is so freaking believable. And I believe that he believes that he has the authority to do what he was doing.
I think that
and that's the problem with cops. They truly, truly believe that they've been bestowed with power from on high to be able to do what they do. That's why they act like they act.
A miscommunication here. My intention is never to impersonate law enforcement. I've never identified myself as such. I am licensed with the state. I am a fugitive recovery agent. Every interaction I've had with anybody, I've had all you guys involved. It was a safety issue on the plate just because of the nature of the job. Right. It's the same reason that my driver's license comes back to Marconi.
Right.
And it's just a safety issue. It's not to impersonate anybody. It's to keep my family safe.
Once this is said and done, that emergency equipment is going to have to come off of there.
Okay.
So,
but again, it's still on application with the AG's office.
To get to the meat and potatoes of things, an individual was detained.
Here we go.
And their Fourth Amendment rights were violated. And
he is talking to the guy he just directly violated and trampled his Fourth Amendment rights. The reason you're back in this cop car, buddy, is because somebody out there had their Fourth Amendment rights violated. So we decided to come to your home and violate your Fourth Amendment rights. What you think about them apples?
And in the process of that, red and blue lights were activated on that roadway with that address and everything coming back to 120. That's impersonating a police officer.
Wasn't the intention.
So
It was public safety, and it was to wave down a Columbus police officer. I used the lights to signal for them to come because they were going to do harm to other people on the car. Okay. Which I do have the videos along with that.
You do have video?
Unbelievably, it appears the man went as authentic as possible, even suiting himself up with body cam footage. After getting a warrant and going through the footage, officers were able to see this man made numerous stops, and this is where the Westerville detective lieutenant learned the man arrested someone without the proper credentials to do so. As for his license plate address being listed at Columbus Police Headquarters, Detective Lieutenant Justin Alloway also had some thoughts on this as well. He told ABC6 News, "That's a privilege that's reserved for police officers to protect their home address. He had to file paperwork with the BMV showing that he is a peace officer, and that was obviously fraudulently done, so that could rise to a felony charge in the future."
See, it's got to be legal fraud. It's got to be legally authentic. It's got to be legal road piracy. Because if it's not, if you don't put the legal on the front of it, it ain't all right.
Gave you my card.
You did.
Everything I thought was above board. If there's an education here, if I crossed, I don't think that this needs to be an arrestable situation. We can figure out a way that I can say, okay, did I misstep?
I absolutely believe that you meant well. But based on our conversation last night, you told me that you activated your overhead lights, stopped the car, gave him 11 commands over the PA, pull to the right. You initiated.
I asked him to get off the roadway while the Columbus officer was coming.
And the Columbus officer said you had him stop. The Columbus
He wouldn't move. He was just stopped dead in the road.
Well,
He was just sitting in the middle of a green light. And I saw the Columbus officer. I hit the lights and I waved him over and I said, hey, you got to get this guy right now. You got to get him. He goes, hey, who are you with? I said, I'm with the Ohio Fugitive Apprehension Program. That's exactly who. Right. We're a nonprofit, state of Ohio, right? He goes, okay, cool. Do you have your ID? I showed it to him. I showed it to you. Gave the card. If I didn't hit the lights, I was afraid somebody was going to get hurt. And I feel like I was very transparent.
When we were speaking, I asked you for your badge number. You gave that to me. I said, so you're federal.
I don't believe I didn't respond.
You didn't respond.
No, I think it was said, no, I'm state. And then the other guy was talking to me from the other side. I'm absolutely not federal.
You didn't respond. You didn't correct me.
No. That's why I said, hey, do you want my card? Our organization is a nationwide organization, right? But we're licensed through the state of Ohio. Gotcha. Technically, are we federal?
Yeah,
the group is, but I would never say I'm a federal agent or a nationwide agent or anything like that.
There is a serious issue. Their Fourth Amendment was put in jeopardy.
It so disgusts me when a cop says this because it's obvious that they absolutely do not care about anybody's Fourth Amendment except their own. So this guy is believable, and here's what ends up happening to him. This is the last minute and a half of this video.
And you have my card. You can share questions.
They actually allow the guy to keep his car. They don't tow it. They let this guy's wife pull the car into the driveway because there was that license plate issue. So they're basically treating with, he's getting the preferential treatment.
According to court records, the man pled not guilty and was released the following day on his own recognizance, meaning he didn't have to pay a bail amount to avoid jail time. He faced 4 charges, 1 for impersonating an officer, 1 for unlawful restraint on a person's liberty, 1 for operating a vehicle bearing fictitious license plates, and 1 for prohibited use of flashing red and blue lights. Shortly after, police would get a warrant to search his vehicle and other properties. According to several news sources and police documentation, the police would find the interior of the squad vehicle had a computer that very closely resembled official.
Look at that. Look at the inside of that vehicle right there.
Use, a partition between the front and back seats of the vehicle, a shotgun mount, and of course a shotgun. What appears to be handcuffs, tactical gear donning the infamous badge along with several utilities, a taser, a handgun, and, as mentioned earlier, dash and body cam equipment the man allegedly used to record himself with during.
Look at that. That is an official looking vest. He's got this all embroidered. Fugitive Task Force Agent Warrant Division, which apparently he was a part of. But watch what happens to him.
Different traffic stops he conducted. As far as his verdict goes, it appears his court case was initially pushed back to a later date, but the case was then entirely dismissed by request of the prosecutor less than a month after his arrest. With that being said, for this case, this individual was not found guilty on any of the charges he faced, served no jail time, and got his court fees dismissed. The individual in this case is presumed innocent.
Dismissed. No court fees, no jail time. Definitely got the preferential treatment.